By the middle of the 19th century, the industrial world believed it had solved its greatest problem. For the first time in human history, machines could truly repeat. They could cut with unimaginable accuracy. They could shape hard metal with unwavering consistency. They could reproduce the exact same movement again and again and again. Precision, once a dream, now existed. Accuracy, once a concept, was now real. And yet, the industrial world was still fundamentally broken, because every factory, every workshop, every single business lived inside its own private world, its own set of rules. The very definition of measurement changed from one street to the next. The shape of a screw thread changed from one workshop to another. Angles, pitches, tolerances, the fundamental building blocks of engineering. None of them agreed. A bolt made in one factory could not replace a bolt from another. A machine built in Manchester could not be repaired with parts made in London. Railway components failed when they were moved across regions because the tracks themselves were different. Weapons assembled from the parts of different suppliers would jam and fail on the battlefield. Industry had finally learned how to repeat, but it had not yet learned how to agree. What looked like progress from the inside was, in reality, fragmentation. Factories became isolated islands of production. Workshops became closed-off, incompatible systems. Each one defended its own measurements as the absolute truth, the only correct way. And in the space between them, chaos ruled. The Industrial Revolution wasn't a single, unified movement. It was a collection of 1,000 tiny, competing revolutions, each speaking its own language. Joseph Whitworth entered this world not as a revolutionary, but as a quiet, meticulous observer. He had spent his life working with the most advanced precision machinery of his day. He had seen firsthand the incredible power of accurate tools. He deeply understood and respected the achievements of pioneers like Henry Maudslay. The men who had taught machines, at last, how to remember their movements. But wherever Whitworth went, from the smallest workshops to the largest foundries, he noticed the same silent, catastrophic failure. He saw perfect parts that only worked in one place. Engineers of the time believed that accuracy was the final goal. The ultimate prize, Whitworth knew it was not. He saw a deeper truth that almost everyone else was missing, because precision without a shared reference, without a common standard, is nothing more than isolated perfection. A machine could be absolutely flawless in its construction, a marvel of engineering, yet become completely useless the moment it left its own factory walls. The problem, Whitworth realized, was no longer mechanical. The machines were good enough. The tools were sharp enough. The problem was cultural. It was systemic. It was human. The entire industrial world had no common language, and without a shared language, there could be no true scale. There could be no reliable expansion. There could be no unified, interconnected industry. Factories were indeed growing stronger, but, in doing so, they were also growing further and further apart. Whitworth understood something that few people wanted to admit, because it was a frightening thought. Progress had reached a dangerous point. The machines were now so powerful, their output so immense, that the simple act of disagreement had itself become the greatest risk. The incompatibility was no longer just an inconvenience. It was a threat to the entire system. So Whitworth proposed an idea that sounded dangerously simpler and to many felt profoundly threatening. He didn't propose a better machine. He didn't invent a faster tool or a stronger material. He proposed something far more radical, a single enforced standard. One universal thread profile for every screw in the nation. One standard thread angle, one unified system of measurement. For everyone, no exceptions. Crucially, it was not presented as an innovation. It was presented as a necessity, a matter of survival. And that is precisely why it was so fiercely resisted. Manufacturers and factory owners saw this push for standards as a direct attack, an attack on their traditions, on their hard-won expertise. It felt like an attack on their very identity, their independence. Why should one man, Joseph Whitworth, get to decide how the entire world measures itself? Why should centuries of local practice, of unique craftsmanship, be erased and replaced by a bland, sterile uniformity? The resistance wasn't just about business, it was personal. It was a fight for their way of life. Whitworth understood the fear. He understood the pride. He understood the resistance, and he calmly ignored it. Because he knew something deeper, something more fundamental. He knew that without agreement, without a common language, precision would eventually destroy itself. Accuracy would collapse into a sea of incompatibility. And the entire industrial project, this grand engine of progress, would inevitably choke on its own complexity. He wasn't just trying to make things easier. He was trying to stop the entire system from tearing itself apart. The future wasn't about making better individual parts. It was about making all the parts work together. That was the real revolution. Whitworth did not argue with theory. He argued with reality. He defined standards not as suggestions, but as rules. The Whitworth standard specified everything: the angle of the thread, the pitch of the thread, the tolerances allowed, the measurements accepted. Nothing was left to interpretation. Nothing was left to tradition. Nothing was left to opinion. For the first time, machines built in different places could speak the same mechanical language. This change did not arrive with noise. There were no celebrations, no dramatic announcements. The transformation was silent. Machines began to fit. Repairs became predictable. Parts became interchangeable. Factories stopped improvising. Railways stopped guessing. Production lines stopped stalling. Industry did not become faster overnight. It became aligned, and alignment changed everything. Rail networks expanded without fear of incompatibility. Factories scaled beyond local boundaries. Nations industrialized with confidence. Not because machines became smarter, not because tools became stronger, but because the world finally agreed. Standards turned precision into power. Henry Maudslay had taught machines to remember. Joseph Whitworth taught the world to obey. Precision creates capability. Standards create civilization. Every modern system rests on this idea: manufacturing, aviation, global trade, technology. Behind every complex machine, there is an invisible agreement. Without standards, modern industry collapses into chaos. Systems fail. Parts refuse to cooperate. Complexity overwhelms control. Whitworth did not invent a famous machine. He did not build a monument of iron or steam. He invented something far more dangerous: a rule no one could ignore. Once adopted, it could not be undone, because agreement, once enforced, reshapes everything around it. The modern world does not run on power alone. It runs on shared rules. And every time a machine fits perfectly where it was never meant to be. Joseph Whitworth's idea is still at work. Silent, unseen, unquestioned. Because once the world agreed, there was no going back.